Hey everyone. So this is my second video of the Dodge Viper. This is an update video, so I'm here at my shop. I've got the blue hood on it that he had as a spare, that Joe had as a spare. It's the one that he, I think, had with the car originally whenever he bought it back, and then he found the original hood. Well, I'm gonna fix up the original hood because it had a lot of like cracks and everything all right in this area from where people like push down on it. So I'll try to give you an update of where I'm at with it and what I've done so far in the past. I think it's been 3 weeks since I've had it. Yeah, so let's get into it. All right, so what I've done so far is I've replaced the coil packs because I was having a spark issue. As you can see, there's a couple of pieces of tape on there. I wasn't getting any fire on those cylinders, and I think 2 on the other side. So 5 cylinders out of 10 weren't working. I put the carbon fiber intake on it just to see how it looks for now. Also, one of the springs, I think, not one of these springs, but the lower ones down here, uncoiled itself, and it was on, so the hood wasn't staying up, so I figured that out. Also, the reservoir for the brake was melted, so I've got a new one put on and bled out. Let's see what else. So the fuel pump, we were having fuel pump issues. I could get it to run for a little while and then it loses fuel pressure. But whenever it did run, it ran pretty good and it sounds amazing. So after I hooked a fuel gauge up to fuel pressure gauge up to it, a little port right there, I was only getting about 20 psi. And yesterday I pulled the whole sending unit out and tested it, so I'll show you what I've got. So I've got kind of a mess here, but this is the entire fuel sending unit. As you can see, this guy right here, if I can focus in, it's a little burnt and I wasn't getting any signal. So whenever your fuel fills up to full, it should be sending you how much fuel you have in your fuel tank, and it should slowly lower the ohms going to your gauge. Well, I wasn't getting any signal there. I tested these wires. The wires are okay. A little corrosion on the inside of there, but nothing too big. I had it up in the air, and underneath the car, I pulled the fuel line going all the way across the car, backside of the fuel filter, and the inline fuel filter, and it was barely trickling out. So whenever you turn the key on, it would prime it, but just not fill up the pressure it needs. I think in the book it's like 51 plus or minus psi. I'm pretty sure Joe has replaced this fuel pump itself. I cannot find anywhere the entire sending unit for this thing. So I'm going to clean this out because there's still a little bit of debris down inside there. But what I'm trying to do right now, I'm pretty sure this is the cause of it. This is your fuel pressure regulator. And inside of here is a little diaphragm and a spring. And it kind of works the same as a thermostat, just not heat related, it's pressure. So if I put any pressure to it, it's not coming out at all on this other side. And that's what's supposed to be feeding through here. So you're in from your fuel pump, your line goes into that, and that guy is just not giving me the pressure I need, or no pressure at all. Basically, it's, I think, collapsed. So I've got it soaking right now with some Kroll oil. I'm trying to see if I can get it broken loose, but it's still just stuck down there in the very bottom. What I'm going to try to do right now is I'm going to put it up here on top of this and see if I can heat it up and get that spring to pop back up. I think it's just been sitting for so long that it's just corroded on the inside of there. I mean, you can see corrosion right here on the outside. I guarantee it's the same right there on the inside. So together. I'm gonna go hook it back up to the car, and we'll see what kind of issues it has. Go from there. All right, so I'm going up with this a little bit. I want to be able to see inside there, but I also gotta be able to reach the ignition. Get this guy out of the way. Go ahead and open the door. Keep that out of the way. All right. Let's turn the key on. Got any fuel pressure? Nope, still not working. And I'm not seeing anything drip out. Pretty sure, well, that might be it. So it kicks on, gives it a little bit of fuel. Let's do this a couple of times and see if I get a nice big puddle under there. Ooh, hear a lot of fuel coming out now. All right, so now we got fuel pressure. We should have some kind of fuel pressure, so let's go up all the way. I'll connect that line. We're gonna attach that hose to the fuel filter. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. Nice little click. Give it a couple of yanks. And we'll lower it back down and see if I can get it to run. We'll see if we can get some fuel pressure built up inside the intake. So we'll go back to that manifold and see how much fuel pressure we get. Hopefully get enough to keep it running for a little bit longer. Don't want to keep it running too long though, because I don't have any fans in it. Basically just get it up to operating temperature and shut it back down. Just seeing if I can get it to stay running. We're still having some issues there, but I'll let you know. Alright, so the last things I'm going to do today, maybe this weekend, probably like a little on-end stuff. So it's running now. I'm going to pull the intake back off, put the fan assembly back in, plug it in, and start trying to let it run up to temperature and make sure it's got plenty of coolant in it. Make sure it's pressurized. Probably also just do the AC, make sure the AC works. And make sure, you know, the thermostat's working properly, stuff like that. And then I'll probably just end up cleaning it up for this weekend, put all the carpet back in it. Maybe mess around with like some of the speakers and stuff. There's no speakers in the back of it. And if all that's running fine, I'll start trying to mess with the radio, the amplifier, get that connected in there. Probably buy new speakers for it. He has some speakers in a box. I'm not sure if any of them work. I'll go through those. And it's got a couple of big amp wires. I'm not putting subs in it or anything like that. So I'll just kind of go back to factory on all of that stuff. Clean up the wiring. There's small things like that. So yeah, that's probably it for today for you guys. I'll show you next week or in a couple of weeks, see where we're at, and give you an update from there. But I want to say thank you if you're watching, if you've been following along. This is probably video number 2. If you want to help support this build, like I said before, it was my brother-in-law's. I want to get it running back on the road. I want to take it to car shows, eventually make it a track car, twin turbo it. I've got the turbos for it and the purge valves, but I don't have any plumbing or anything like that. So there's a lot of stuff that I still got to get for this, but I do eventually want this thing to be roadworthy and very reliable. Do a whole new paint job to it, make this thing look brand new, and get it running right, drive it around, you know. But if you want, anyway, if you want to help support this build, anything is appreciated. If you've got knowledge, money, you know, hints and tips and tricks, you know, I'll take all of it. I'm learning just as probably you are, so I'm no expert. I've just worked on a lot of cars. Do what I can, and if you got any questions, just put them down in the comments, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thanks.